I've had it for like 3 weeks, it's not gonna snow the rest of the year. Like, we literally shot right now, bitch, I take out my wife, and you kind of, you know, like, I'm pushing rocks, and like, what, it's gonna be down with that. It's never gonna snow here. Yeah, it's not gonna snow. Well. I'm like, they know, it's not everything, you're right about that, it is everybody, you know, I'm like, bro, I had this, I'm supposed to be like. Here. It's been great. Yeah, did you? No. Said I said. And if it hadn't snowed, you'd know if it really worked. Oh. Yeah, I actually got that. Kevin went out this afternoon, and if you get like a nice share. Yeah, and then we saved for fire. As there was some that were the peak trail.
That hadn't gone up.
Yeah, where was that? I don't know where it was. I got somebody with the father. But where was it with your house? Pulled it out, plus it's got the corner across the.
Well, so that picture was shared with me, that wasn't, that came from somebody who was walking around there.
Yes.
And I know the night that they went off.
County that went out there. Saw it?
Oh, well, yeah,
When was it? Yeah.
I believe, well, so now I don't know if it was the weekend after New Year's Eve, or around 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. It was very disturbing. It was, see, when I first looked out, it was my dog. I mean, it didn't. It was a professional show, which you can even see by the way it was. Oh, this was a Christmas market. Oh, no, this was an illegal.
Feel that happened,
It was like a Saturday afternoon.
yeah, it was like the weekend.
Oh, good, but great. So I could see from my house. Wow. But I mean, even the sound of it didn't really sound like fire. You thought that something else was.
Yeah, like a bomb or something.
Well, yeah, maybe,
Or
you know.
tires blowing.
Well, yeah, I really thought it was a highway, and it was in such an odd spot. I mean, it wasn't around anybody's house, it wasn't at the restaurant, it wasn't.
What was
that? So it was like, you know, down, like in the parking lot by the lake.
Wow. That's rather exciting.
Well, but, you know, from a standpoint that we're having.
Well, yeah, shopping happening.
Fire concerns, stuff like that.
I mean, it's over quickly. You say, I was like, half out of it. She couldn't get you to see it.
So that was now that's
So the people. So they, by the time I got to Avon, an hour later, they arrested me, found the guy and arrested him.
Did he kill anybody? Or was
Yeah,
it just?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have a.
That sounded good.
I have downstairs. Yeah, I'm just, you know, like. I get my teeth trees.
Well, you bring it up in the selectmen report, it's not on the agenda. So I think what we want to do, you and I did about this, but I think what we want to do is have a scheduled conversation. More in I've heard something say that the commissioners meeting, they say talking about, I know about any of the comments. Like if there's criticism about how public service will happen, then we'll take individual stories and comments with see. We can also make her explain directly as well. But that I'm thinking is there's a conversation. A more profound way, I think, yes.
Didn't we talk about adding some of the generators?
No, and we lost our ice ready. So.
Whereas that is. Run for ground.
All right, everyone, thank you very much. Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So it is now 6 o'clock on January 13th, and this meeting is called to order. This is a regular meeting of the Georgetown Board of Selectmen. And I just wanted to say Happy New Year, everyone. And it's I know it's 2026, so my goodness, we get to do more things and more wonderful things. I'm very happy to be sitting back before you. I will now do the roll call. Mary Smith. Rob Connell.
Here.
Amanda Cooper.
Here.
Alex is not here. Dwayne Gazinski.
Here.
And Rich Barrows.
Here.
Great, okay, so we are all here. Thank you. You have an agenda before you. Are there any comments or changes to the agenda? Any additions? Any questions about it? I have a couple of questions or additions, possible additions, or they might be addressed in upcoming reports. Status on our audit. Then I'd like to add that as a discussion. The safe built code enforcement. Going once, going twice, I'd like to add that as a discussion point. And the forced power outage, that's not the term that Excel used, our emergency response. Is that going to come up? So I'd like to add that for a brief discussion. So is the audit and safe built for the power safety shut off part of anyone's report, Dennis, or should they be discussion items to be added?
If the board wants to talk about those tonight, yes.
Oh, and then how we're gonna handle payables, because we started.
That'll be discussed, I think, during payables.
But that's not really part of the payables, it's kind of how we're gonna procedural wise after.
So is that discussed in the December meeting? The procedure for payables?
Well, I think the only discussion that we did have that evening was clarification from Jerry that there is no policy or requirement for the board to approve payables before checks are sent out. So then the question that Mary brought forward was we should have a discussion about making a policy that says, here's how we're gonna deal with these going forward. So we can have that at the payables time, or we can throw that out at the end with all these other things too, and we can cover all of those topics under the town administrator's report if you'd like.
That's fine, as long as we're,
Okay,
as long as we're hitting on them, that's all.
Okay.
Right.
So this evening, the way that we've set it up is pretty much the same way we've done it in the past. The payables for 1/1 to 1/8 were motion for approval, as we've done in the agenda in the past. And then the payables for 12/4 to 12/31 were already approved by the board, so we are giving those to you for information only and discussion if possible, if necessary.
So going forward, we don't have any additions to the agenda then, because we'll put the audit status, the safe built code enforcement and the power shut off into the town administrator's report. And then payables we'll discuss during payables. Does that sound right?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Who is that?
Second, me, Dwayne.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The agenda goes forward as presented. For audience business, members of the audience have 3 minutes to present any matter of interest not already on the agenda. Letters will be acknowledged but will not be read aloud. And I know, Tom, you wanted to make a statement at this time, or and just if you'll state your name for the record, that would be great.
I'm Elliot, Ellen and I are here simply to add support for the town going forward on the purchase of the committee, library building. And I'm also here in case any questions come up. I'm on the district library board and the trust board. And so if any questions come up regarding that pending contract, I can maybe be helpful.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I see we have a lot of library people here, so that's a good thing. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. For our minutes, I'm sorry, payables. So going to payables, as Dennis mentioned, the first payables is the set dated December. Sorry?
Is that why Carol and Margaret are here too?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to-
Sorry, I had checked with them when they.
Sorry, I just,
No, that's all right.
I didn't mean to.
That's okay. So for payables, the first payables we have is December 4 to December 31. As the town administrator noted, these were approved at the December meeting, but they are before you for any questions. Are there any questions on these payables for this period of time? I think these checks have already gone out and they were, like I said, approved. So if we don't have any questions, we don't need to approve these. Is that correct? Okay. So any other comments on these? Okay, very good. So going on to the next payables, that's dated January 1 through January 8. And good, and we do need to approve these, right? Okay, so or do we have any questions or comments on these?
I did have one question, and I know you kind of addressed it. It said that we got a little behind on the professional management services solutions invoices. Was that because they were being sent late or? So
There was a combination of both of those things happening.
Right.
So I think there were, how many months? Was it 3 or 4?
Or.
4. Two of those were slow in getting to us, and then the other 2 we held. So we paid all those with more flooring and right at the same time.
In October and November, we did not have invoices or those
We
were.
paid those in October and November.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any other questions on the payables for this period of time?
Under Parks and Rec, the rentals for the porta potties for events, is that a combination? $2,500 is a lot of shit. Is there? Is that a combination of several events? Don't make me laugh.
I didn't say it.
I know, make me laugh, so that I laugh.
Asia, do you know? Or we can follow up with the,
I would need to check the invoice on that, so, but I do think that's the Christmas benefit, and I know we had them empty it a number of times.
Twice.
I didn't think we used Timberline though for Christmas conflict. I thought we ended up using somebody else, that we were Stanford for somebody else.
No. Page, sorry, that,
We used to,
yeah, Q got them to, actually,
Okay.
the owner was on a plane, he got off the plane and made arrangements at the last
Okay.
minute. It was a harrowing experience.
And then. I know it's. Also on the payables under the water fund. The reimbursement for the ski passes.
So that is because in the past, the traditional benefit that was offered the employees was the rotating full membership.
Corporate pass.
Corporate passes, which are more expensive.
That was a shared
And
pass,
yes, and they were always paid for out of the utility for some reason.
right?
So when we switched to just the Loveland Pass, for people that are serious about using it, instead of just having to sit there, we were saving money, but we just booked it the same way we always have. If we decide to do that differently, we will make a change, we will amend the, where it's booked at.
So is it an individual pass or is it a corporate pass for Loveland? I thought we only provided a pass
It's a
to
partial,
Loveland.
it's a partial reimbursement for Loveland season passes. So it's up to, we expect the employee to pay, so season passes are like $670 or something. We expect the employee to pay $200 and then the town will reimburse, I think it's like $479 up to that amount.
And so what's the corporate pass?
Corporate passes are 2,000.
that are insane.
And
I have corporate passes.
it was a hassle for our
For employees.
employees to have to coordinate their schedules, pass the pass to the other employee. So we have a better, more efficient way of using the pass and it costs us less. So
So
that's
are
why
we-
we switched it.
So are we capping our policy then that we're not paying more than $2,000 in?
We don't have to do that because we did a census with our employees to see who's gonna use the pass. And it's still, even if everybody we think is gonna use it will be less than the 3 passes that we typically would buy.
Oh, you buy 3 passes?
Yeah, it's normally you have to buy more than one.
Yeah,
Like,
we
they
had
don't, you
one.
have to do at least 2.
So that's $4,000.
Well, so mine were 20. Mine are an advertising package, so I don't know, mine are a little bit
Last year we
different.
paid $1,400 per pass.
That would be about
Per
right.
pass and you have to
Yeah.
buy 3.
Because mine was
It's
2,500.
$3,400 for the 2 actually, so was that 16?
Yeah.
18
So they're
something.
very expensive.
Yeah, cause mine is the advertising package.
So we can get 7, we can do the partial reimbursement for 7 employees, which is half of staff, and still be less than that. We don't expect more than 6 people to do it, so.
But that's,
So the other people you have to say
we could
no.
hire a bunch of skiers or snowboarders, and then all of a sudden, everybody gets a pass.
That's actually now
We'll get over
an
it.
interview.
That's right. All right.
I have one more question.
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
Under laboratory supplies, what is USA Blue Book? That's a
Well,
sewer.
it's a source for water and wastewater.
Okay, it just sounded funny. I was like, is it like,
No, it's just a catalog, very thick, and you can get whatever you want, regarding water and wastewater.
I see. You have to pay $483 for the catalog?
No.
Or that was just where the catalog came from?
Oh, yeah, the
That's where the item
company
came
is
from.
called USA.
Understood. Yeah, the way it was, okay, thank you. I will, that's all.
But it comes out of the sewer fund.
No holler. It is a water sewer
Manual.
manual.
Ordering manuals.
Any other questions?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the payables for January 1 to January 8.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, those payables are approved. Moving on next to the minutes, you also have 2 sets of minutes in front of you. The first is from November 25th. I know that I submitted some edits to Bridget. I think Mary did as well. So those, I believe we have now the edited versions. Any questions on the November 25 minutes? Or any other changes or edits? Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the November 25, 2025 regular scheduled meeting minutes?
So moved.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Who was second?
Rob?
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Wait, these new ones that you put out here are not changed. Are we talking about November 25? Yeah. Unless they were just misprinted.
That may have probably the virtual portal, any of those corrections at home via the virtual portal. But I have, I'll be sure that whatever ones Georgia signs and get posted over the 5 minutes. But I believe the November 25 ones had very few.
Yeah, they weren't as extensive as the other ones, so. Right. But even the November 25 doesn't have, so.
I've made the corrections, I'll be sure that they,
Okay.
the version of the sign that it says.
Okay, so I have a first from Rich, a second from Rob. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we'll make sure that those edits get in. All right, your second set of minutes is from December 9, 2025. And I had very little, obviously I wasn't at that meeting, and I know Mary submitted some changes. Do we have this edited version? So I have the same concerns with that, and the December 9th was a little bit more extensive, but these don't reflect most of them, so. The significant ones.
I've implemented the changes that you suggested. I'm not sure what happened with the printing.
Okay. So before I sign, I'll make sure that I see that version and we'll get it to Mary to read. Yeah, that's what the corrections, yeah, that's fine, thank you. Do we have any other edits or comments for the December 9 minutes? Okay, does anyone want to make a motion to accept the December 9, 2025 regularly scheduled meeting minutes as edited? I'll make that motion. Mary,
I'll
second. Rich, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, okay, those minutes are approved. So under your action items, so agenda item number 1 is resolution number 1, and this has to do with scheduled dates. Dennis, I'd let you comment on that one.
Thank you. This is a housekeeping matter that we do every year. My first time doing it, so I can't say every year, but I know, but anyway. When we started putting the board's meeting schedule together for 2026, we had to consult where the observed holidays would be, so we thought we would put the two together in one action. And you can see your schedule of meetings are listed here under the 2026 BOS meeting schedule. And then below that second item is the observed holidays plan for 2026, and I'll point to the change that I am proposing this year. The board adopted a resolution designating the holidays that town hall will be closed for this past year, 2025. And on that schedule, around Christmas Day, there was also added a floating holiday to be used before or after Christmas at the employee's discretion. And then the same approach was taken with Colorado Day on August 1st. The issue that exists when we do that is then I have the difficulty of staffing both days. And then that means also town hall would stay open for both days. And I think the intent was, not being here, but the intent is to pick one of the days that goes with Christmas, either after or before, as a day that town hall will be closed. So here's the problem. If I have, as we did this year, Friday was selected as the day town hall will be closed after Christmas and will be a holiday for all employees. But if we allow employees to say, no, I'm gonna have my floater be Christmas Eve, then they have to come into work on Friday or take PTO. Does that make sense? So my proposal is to clean this up just a bit and make the floater intention be the Christmas adjacent day that I would decide whether it's the day after or the day before. And I don't just unilaterally decide that, I kind of poll the employees and see what the preference would be. And the same thing would go with the Colorado Day. And then if the board's also intention was to provide the benefit of a floating holiday or two for the employees for the year, then designate those just as 2 employee floating holidays and allow them to pick whatever day they want during the course of the year. So that's what I've included here. You'll also remember when I first floated this to you, I added on the idea of creating a new holiday called Georgetown Days, but in talking with some of you, there wasn't a lot of support for that, so I just dropped it.
So the employee floating holidays are just random, they're just time off?
Yes,
And so,
So they could take their birthday off or.
we already included the birthday as a day off, isn't that true? No? Okay, that would be.
but it could be a birthday.
A lot of
Really, this is adding to vacation time.
the difference is that it would not accrue, it would be in the year, if it wasn't used, it would go away.
Okay,
And PTO is accrued and written and exists as a liability on the books.
This
going
is,
forward.
so this is 15 paid holidays, where we've had 13 in the past, if you include the 2 employee floating holidays.
Correct.
Which I'm not quite sure why since all the holidays and then some seem to be covered here, why we're adding the floating holidays, do we not have PTO anymore?
I'm presenting this as an option for you. I'm not recommending that you do it for sure. I'm giving you basically what you approved in your resolution in 1 2-day period for around the holidays and giving you the option separately.
But I'm also questioning how you've outlined this for Christmas Day, because Christmas Day is always December 25th, whenever it falls, it actually falls on a Friday for 2026. So you've got it observed December 24th, and then we're having the Christmas adjacent day, the 23rd, so basically we're having Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, where town hall is closed of that week. I know holidays typically are slow days in some industries, and probably in government is one of them. Not the restaurant business, but that, to me, that just seems excessive unless a calendar was looked at wrong.
A standard practice for many organizations are to designate your national holidays like Christmas, 4th of July. And if those fall on a Saturday or Sunday, you go to the Friday or you go to the Monday. And that's what the observed label means. So Christmas falling on a Saturday.
But it falls
It
on
falls on
Friday this
Friday.
year.
So
That's my
this-
question, so this, I understand your theory, but this year in 2026, in my calendar.
It's on a Friday.
Okay, then
It
that's
falls on
just my
Friday.
error. That's my error. I looked at it and it was Saturday to me.
So then we're down, we're taking away one of these days where the town operations are
The
closed.
Christmas adjacent days.
Yeah, we don't need the Christmas, when I say we,
Well, the timing does.
The Christmas adjacent day wouldn't need to apply because we have a Thursday, Friday off. Is that what we're saying? I
No,
think that's what
no,
we're
no,
saying.
no. Christmas adjacent day was made Christmas because it was gonna be Friday
I see.
or Sunday. So
Oh,
now
I
that it's a Friday, Christmas is Friday, then the Christmas adjacent day for 2026 is gonna be Christmas Eve.
It's the
Can I not
24th.
come to your house anymore?
Not
Is
anymore.
that what you're telling us?
Yeah, so the town's ready to go.
Too windy.
So it's just an adjustment on that. I think everything else is fine.
I'm sorry, that was my error.
You just do Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, right? And then so you're just.
Did you do the 26th?
What's that?
The town did the 26th too, which I think was appropriate.
Well,
Because it was a
so what do
Friday.
you normally do for the town? Is it just Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, or is it 3 days?
No, it's
No,
two.
this is those two, yeah,
So you're just cleaning up, so in
Yes.
case when it falls on Saturday.
right.
So we're talking 14 holidays then, if we're gonna count right.
Well, some of these are on a Saturday, so the town hall's closed anyway. The 2 employee floating holidays, I don't think I totally understand. But,
That's a common practice as well,
Yeah.
offering the floating holidays for employees because then they get to use their birthday. But also I've been in organizations where they just say your birthday is, you can have that day off and it's paid. But it's up to you. It's a definite benefit and then it doesn't accrue, so it's not a liability financially for the town going forward.
so I did have one question about adding New Year's Eve because that's December 31 and that's within the the 2026 calendar. So is New Year's Eve day do people get that off or no? Okay, but New Year's
That's not-
Day, which would be January 1, they would,
Right.
okay,
New
got
Year's
it.
Eve is not traditionally some time
Okay,
employees get off.
yeah,
It
those are the
was
only.
designated a national holiday this year though.
So, any other questions or comments? On this? There's a resolution in the packet. Would someone like to make a motion to approve this per the packet? As it's set out there?
I move to adopt the resolution 1, series 2026. Setting the Board of Selectmen meeting schedule and observed holiday schedule for 2026.
As amended, as corrected, can you correct it, please?
As amended?
That's correct.
That's correct, that's all right.
Nice second in this part.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, that passes. On to your agenda item number 2, which is the code of conduct. And Dennis, this again is for your further comment.
Yes, so the last version of the code of conduct.
We need we should need petite. Don't come on this.
Don't make me pull the car over.
Just shut. I'm sorry.
Well, you know that Alex is present online.
Oh, very good. Does Alex, did he just come online?
He was just promoted to panelist.
Okay, very good. So we'll be sure to include him in any comments. Thank you.
Okay, the code of conduct has been discussed by this board, on a number of occasions. We have tried to meld some of the best, qualities of other codes that we've drawn from other communities. The last version that we had that we gave to you about a month ago was, in my opinion, very wordy, very bureaucratic and a lot of language. And so I have tried to boil it down to a simpler version here. And then also, when Cage and I were going through this final version, we came up with a new section that we've added at the end that I wanted to point out to you called conduct in public. So I like the way that this is broken up because it talks about the different areas where elected officials and board and commission members will find themselves in a situation where they can be representing the town. And they're different situations. So you have conduct with each other. How you treat each other in this situation here as elected officials and board chair and commission members. Then you have conduct with the public, how you deal with your constituents. And then you have conduct with town staff and how that interaction will take place. And then you have elected officials' conduct with boards and commission members, so your volunteers and your people that you appoint. But we also thought that a good idea would be to have one called conduct in public. So if you're at a special event, if you're maybe over in Idaho Springs and you're at one of their festivals, even though you're there as Amanda and your family, you're still as a Board of Selectmen person. So we added these two areas that we thought would fit under there. that talk about representation at special events, and you can see the bullets about that. And then another one, which is dicey, is your social media activity. So if you're online and you are on Facebook, even though you're doing it as Dennis Durham, you are doing it in many people's eyes as Dennis Durham Town Administrator. And so you have to be cognizant of how that is perceived or reflected. So we've added that. And then at the end, I wanted to make a point because Georgia asked me about this. We have the advisory board and commission responsibilities, and that talks about how if the board and commission members that you appoint don't live up to this code of conduct and this body decides that something has to be done to change that, then this talks about that in brief. But the question that Georgia brought to me was about, what about the board of selectmen or the elected officials? The charter already deals with that, and so you would follow the charter laid out doctrine for dismissing somebody from the board for this kind of thing. So if you have any additional questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you. Oh, one last thing. You did ask us to send this to the board of the other boards and commissions to get their approval. During the holidays, we had a real chaotic meeting schedule, and so we weren't able to do that. But what we did do in its place is Bridget sent those to each member of a board and commission last week and asked for them to give us any comments they might have on this this morning. And I only received one verbal comment from one of our people, and they just asked about credit card use because that had been an issue in the past, and we have dealt with that in a different way under our policies and procedures.
My question is still on that last Dennis advisory members. That there are advisory members to commissions who are not commission members, right? No, they're all considered advisory members.
Advisory board and commissions are those volunteer groups that you appoint, like BPC, DRC, Planning Commission,
Okay,
Parks Commission, and if we had a board of review.
board of adjustments.
Board of adjustments.
Okay, thank you.
I think that would probably also include like the police task force.
Yes.
Exactly. All right, thank you. Any other questions on this, on the code of conduct? Or some comments? My comments? Comment, what? Comments? Comments? Well, yes, do you have, I can invite comments, is that what you're asking for? I don't have questions. Oh, you may comment,
You have to
absolutely.
say it in the form of a question.
I have a comment and just make your voice go up at the end. Make your voice go up at the end. and that will sound like that. I go like this. Yeah. Yes. Any comments? Yes, I have a few comments. Okay. And then we'll go to Alex when we're done. Okay. Oh, if Alex has got some, go ahead, jump in. Does Alex have any comments?
He's still muted.
Okay, Mary, why don't you go ahead and then we'll check back with Alex when you're done.
This is semantics, but in the first part of the resolution, I'd like to change the wording on the first whereas, where it would read in the second line, appointed board and commission members on appropriate conduct as representatives of the town in meetings. I find inappropriate ways to conduct themselves. It sounds demeaning to me.
So you're saying commission members on appropriate conduct
As
as
representatives.
representatives.
It was more pointed at me.
I thought my mother was in the room. On page 3, the second bullet. Under, for the audience sake, it's conduct with town staff, treat staff with respect, the second bullet. I think this is
Page 3?
page 3.
Well, how does the
What
bullet
number?
start?
Recognize that disrespectful behavior
Okay.
towards staff is unacceptable and will be addressed by the town administrator. I think it needs to be addressed by the police judge. Because the town administrator does not oversee the board of selectmen or the commissions. I don't think you have the authority to do that, so I think it's really falls to the police judge.
Okay, I think what this is trying to get at, maybe in a clumsy way, is that if an employee feels disrespected or mistreated, that person comes to me. And then I address it with the board. If you would rather have me address it with the police judge and let it go from there, that's fine too.
Or town administrator with the police judge, or it could be the chair of the commission, because it doesn't fall.
Right,
The
so
behavior of this board or our commissions doesn't fall under your purview, it falls under the appointments that the board
Yeah.
makes or the police judge and our own selves in controlling
Yes,
our situation.
where my role would be to be almost the whistleblower. Type of, I'm bringing that as a concern, you just need to decide who I bring that to.
Right,
well,
so
so
it just
the
needs
police
to
judge.
be, yeah.
Okay.
To keep it in more
Makes
code.
no sense.
I would caveat though that like if there was a conflict that arose between like a person and it did involve like a town employee needing corrective action, I think it should potentially, you know, I mean, like if there was something that transpired, like an argument or something, and it was a board member and a town employee and the argument escalated, I think it's hard to put that into a black and white context. I do see what you're saying as far as the authority, but I don't think it should be just like Dennis is a sideline to that.
But it isn't the town administrator's responsibility to intervene at the level here. I'm not saying to take it away from, all of a sudden, there's an argument breaking out in town hall, okay, type situation. But it's, he doesn't have the authority to say, Mary, you're out of line, you're fired. That goes to the police judge and the rest of this board whom I'm accountable to.
So what you're saying is you want a peer representative, and that's Georgia.
Well,
Like if it's Keisha, the peer representative would be Dennis.
That's right.
But I still think though, I think proper process, because the town employee, it goes to Dennis, but then also goes to our police judge.
but our code of conduct is addressing it to us, not our town
Well,
staff.
how I look at it though is if the town employee has such an issue, for them to override Dennis, because Dennis first knows them. And only go to the police judge, see, it's kind of like 2 points.
Right, so it just needs to be added to the board.
So that's why I'm agreeing with that,
Yeah.
you need to add Georgia to it, but you also, it should, town employee should go to Dennis, and then we should go to Georgia, in a sense.
Right,
And then I'll fire you.
but this,
Yeah.
please.
No, I like what you're saying, I think that.
Get in line.
But see, you're not the boss of me, so you can't, okay?
I think by adding police judge, it covers the territory of how and when that mix will
Or
happen.
if that altercation, keep it at that, if that altercation were to take place between a commission member, let's take it outside of the scope
Right.
of this. Then it still could come back to this board or the police judge, because we are the ones who appoint those commission members.
Right.
So it doesn't fall on Dennis's shoulders to take that ultimate step, it's a.
Well, you could say town
She's
administrator.
brushing
police
it off.
judge as appropriate.
No, I think.
You could say as applicable.
All this is correct, all this is.
It is, but I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm having a problem with a town employee, or who knows what, they fall in front of me and they're cussing me out, I'm gonna call Dennis and say, hey, we have a situation.
Yes.
You know, that
will most likely be the end of it.
Yeah.
Because I will handle that as an employee discipline thing.
Mhm.
But if the
Yeah.
employee comes to me and says, hey,
Exactly, then it should go to Georgia.
well, no, if the employee comes to me and says, I got a problem with Dwayne,
Yeah,
this is what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have to talk with Dwayne.
yeah,
And hopefully we can end it. But if it's too big a thing, I'm gonna go to Georgia and say, we got a problem, Georgia, and
they go to the board,
yeah, so hand off. Take it.
So it's, well, maybe so
I
we
think you're right,
say,
I'm not gonna get involved in the
no.
self-disciplining of this group.
Washing your hands of it.
So we could say, so we could say town administrator and police judge as appropriate.
As applicable.
And then we're there. Okay, and you had another one, Mary, did you have another?
Under number 5,
Of course.
do not solicit. I read this stuff. Jerry and I had this conversation at our last meeting. Do not solicit political support from staff. I don't think the second bullet belongs in here, that staff may engage in political activities only on their own time and outside of work. This, again, is a code of conduct for the board and the commission. That bullet belongs in the staff handbook. It doesn't,
That's a good catch.
yeah, it doesn't belong here.
That's good.
Personnel policies, and that's.
Yep.
That's fine, it's important for the board to be aware of that, you know, when you see staff on their own time doing that, that's their. You know.
Okay,
that's
so
their right.
explain that again to me, because in my mind, there's two different things happening here. You're talking about the staff's activity, correct?
Second bullet.
But this code of conduct isn't for staff. Is it for staff?
Right.
You need to do a code of conduct for staff in your employee handbook.
Right,
But this one pertains to the elected officials and the appointed members.
so that you know not to expect this activity out of the staff person, I think.
Which the first bullet is fine. Put it in parentheses then after the first
No.
bullet, but it doesn't belong as a bullet point about what staff can and can do in a board
Gotcha.
conduct.
Okay, we'll eliminate second bullet there and make sure it's in the handbook. I think it already is, but we'll check.
Under the elected officials, number 1, the third bullet, where it says avoid attending planning commission meetings. This should include a lot of the commissions. The
That was one.
DRC and adjustments is also. Or it could even be some of those advisory committees, I suppose, depending on what they're.
And I mean, I was even being county stuff, like if there was stuff at the county level that was, I mean, even if it, you know, if it was gonna involve Georgetown at some point.
This is, I think, purely a defer to the legal counsel here because of the quasi judicial nature of the body. I think he's talked to you in the past about this, is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's clear that when the planning commission's having a hearing on something that's gonna come to you, you shouldn't be at that planning commission meeting, and that's an easy one. Other meetings get more complex because there may be boards or commissions that are that you have appointed people to, or that one of your members is on, one of the members here is on that aren't. So it's, I won't say it's completely case by case, but it's not a blanket rule that every other meeting you can't be in, because in real life, that's not true. And what I would prefer, rather than saying, okay, avoid attending any meeting of any commission anywhere, that's too expansive, because there are meetings that not only can you attend, but some probably you should. Yeah, but it's gonna be too hard for us to detail all that. So what I have practiced in the past, and you wanna say it in the policies, it's fine. Say, rely on the town attorney's advice with respect to attendance at other board and commission meetings. That way I can navigate that for you. But a one size fits all rule would tell you you can't go to stuff that either you can or you should.
Can I give you
Just
just,
will, yeah.
what if I'm a homeowner, but I'm a board of selectmen and you stole my food. I have a renovation and that's being approved in front of.
Yeah, those are easy, that's a quasi issue, and I can.
But I should have, like, I shouldn't say, you know who I am?
Of course not, of course not, that comes up for me all the time.
I think the planning commission is special because it's the only commission that receives applications that have a secondary hearing with you guys. Design review commission and business promotion commission have an appeals process that will come to you guys. So you might see things from the DRC or the business promotion commission that are appealed to you, but the planning commission has regular things that they review first and then come to you as part of the procedural thing. Also, Rob, for your question, you would have to recuse yourself from that one anyway, so.
Let me finish the kind of where I was headed, which was that for everything but planning commission, it's kind of fact specific and meeting specific. And what I would like would be, if you want to even say anything on that, would be to recommend that you come to me, and that's what happens in real life anyhow. Right, if you've got your application for a renovation, you'll say, Jerry, how do we deal with this, and I'll advise you the keys and send someone else. If it's a DRC application that might end up getting appealed, I'll be recommending you not, right? If it's some other advisory commission that on a topic that's of interest that I view is not harmful for you to attend, and I'll say, sure, do.
But, there's not a one size fits all rule other than the planning commission. And I'm repeating myself, but I would recommend you either leave it the way it is, or if you wanna add a bullet on the other commissions and advisory bodies, I'd be fine with, and it's what I always recommend, which is that you come ask me, and I'll help you navigate that.
I'd rather broaden it and include that language where it includes you or our legal counsel's advice, because there are issues where DRC and the appeal comes to us, and so
Yeah.
to be in front of that, that protects all of us.
So I took notes and I'll try this on for size. Rely on the town attorney's advice regarding attendance at quasi judicial commissions.
No, actually, you got that for the third bullet, sorry. It would be rely on the town attorney's advice with respect to attendance at all other board of commission meetings. As planning commission, you've got that handled in the third bullet already. You just,
Yeah, but I'm still not sold now, all of a sudden, because if one of these board members has to get permission from you or advice before they go to like the Parks Commission, that doesn't seem, we're also talking specifically quasi judicial organizations, right, that are ruled by law and legal requirements in terms of voting and decision making. Am I wrong?
yes, although what I'm afraid of here is some kind of commission or board meeting where board member here attends and has opinions, and now that's considered and the matter in some way comes to you and you're considered to this board, considered to have prejudged it. And I get it, that that's the whole quasi judicial routine. It's true that the DRC acts that way and you're an appeal body to them. So I wouldn't want members going to a DRC meeting that would potentially result in an appeal.
Well, now this opens up a can of worms then, I would argue, not to belabor the point, but Rob sits on the Parks Commission, right? So does he then conflict himself out on a matter that might then come to this board?
No, because Parks Commission doesn't deal with quasi judicial matters.
Okay,
They're always legislative or
okay, so the
contracts.
BPC, let's see, Mary sits on the BPC.
Oh, I'll resign from here. Please.
But if the BPC does something and then the appeal step is to come here, is she conflicted out because she was part of that decision?
No. She's on the BPC. If another member of the board attends a BPC meeting and then shows up here when the matter comes in front of you, that's fine. Because the BPC isn't.
I find it really hard to pull that apart. Because it seems to me that if she's sitting on the BPC and she voices her opinion and then votes,
Yeah,
she's immediately declaring how she's prejudged that and she's coming to this board the next meeting.
she has prejudged it, but it's administrative or legislative, and you get to have prejudgments.
I just don't like me judging you.
Think of it, that's legislation too, you express your opinion privately, publicly to 3 people, to a bunch of people. And now you prejudge how you're gonna vote on an ordinance. You are allowed to do that.
I think this is a valuable conversation because this is guiding us and future members of this board or appointed members to know where those boundaries are. So I think this is great dialogue, which is why we're bringing this up where the gray is.
Yeah.
So.
And the fact patterns keep getting more complex. For example, there's a BPC meeting and it's your spouse that is presenting and wants a grant. Do you go to that? Can you go to that? It's not really quasi judicial, but should you go to that? That's the kind of thing where I very much would appreciate it, and people do this, and I appreciate you doing it. They call me up and say, what about that fact pattern, Jerry? What do you think? And quite likely I'd recommend that you not attend. And that's less for the law and more for the ability, and for the ability to you going forward when you're sitting here to be able to meaningfully and participate without a lot of statements about, well, why are you why are you here? And what is your appropriate role?
Okay, so let's write this then.
Okay?
When he wears me down, I just give in.
I know, the third bullet, well, I've learned from an expert. The third bullet's fine, so you were only writing the fourth bullet, which is, the board should take the advice of the town attorney with respect to attendance at other board and commission meetings. Leaves it open, I can say, it's no problem. Most of the time, I'll say it's okay, but there will be some times I'd like to be able to say no.
So
Or
typically,
recommend no.
like if it's my own application for a DRC or if I'm representing a client, then I'm gonna go to the meeting, but typically it wouldn't be. DRC is gonna handle, they handle the stuff the way they do, but then what about with the planning commission, if it becomes an issue?
Well, that's
Then I
why
would just excuse myself from, if it would get appealed to the board of selectmen, I would excuse myself from select, which is how it's always been, we're
That's
not
why you-
changing that.
That's why you have the third bullet.
Or, makes sense.
So back to Amanda's point. How does this impact us? As we sit on, you sit on the housing,
Right,
you sit on economic resiliency. I'm resigning from BPC, so.
We don't currently have anybody on CCFA, but we have had, like, are you on the board for
No,
CCFA?
You're on fire authority.
No, I attend the meetings, but I'm
But-
not, I don't have a vote.
You're not on
in
the
it.
board.
So, but we've had a voting member on CCFA, John Jennings was a voting
Right.
member.
Mhm.
So how do,
Well, honestly, you're making it, in my opinion, a lot more complicated than it needs to be. I think what I would do would be, third bullet, you can change that from planning commission to meetings involving quasi-judicial matters. And that covers DRC, covers planning commission. Now you've taken care of the land use quasi-judicial side of things,
so we simplified it.
which is
like-
honestly 95% of it. So the amount of the time we're now gonna spend is on the remaining 5%. I recommend you probably already spent enough time on it, but that would mean, I think you have a last bullet that says for other, for other meetings, take the advice of the town attorney. What this doesn't address and shouldn't is, when this board appoints one of you to be on BPC, this policy doesn't say, well, I'm been appointed to BPC, but I've gotta go check with Jerry before I can go to one of the regular meetings. Absolutely not. This is when you wanna attend as sort of a third wheel, you wanna show up because you're interested. And will that be a good idea or not? And those are the questions you bring to me. You always do, and I've always got a recommendation for it.
So are we just changing the third bullet that says avoid attending meetings involving quasi judicial?
And adding the
Yeah.
fourth,
Okay,
And then adding a.
and adding the
saying,
fourth.
For other meetings and et cetera, take the advice of the town attorney.
okay.
Mary, did you have additional comments? Okay, two more comments.
Two more, I'll keep it at two. So on the next page, on page 4, number 2, limit interaction. Deliberately, the first bullet says contact members primarily for clarification, not advocacy. Are we just acting within core requirements there? I see this as that I can't call up Amanda and say, Amanda, this is how I feel on this specific issue, and so we're not supposed to be talking about it.
Right, I think it just reinforces that, right?
So-
But this is under the subject of elected officials' conduct with the board and commission, so. What this is saying is you're not gonna call up the planning commission and tell them what to do, or the BPC, or advocate an issue with those groups before they make a decision. But I think that the interaction with this group is a different issue.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's legislation. You call up each other in the dead of night on an ordinance the night before the meeting and line up the votes, and that's your job. You ought to, right?
3 a.m. Hey, okay, just wanna make sure.
I think this is trying to protect from influencing a board and commission group before they give you the advice you sought, right? Okay,
Thank you. Next one?
And then the last one, the conduct in public that we started to talk about a little bit earlier. And the last sentence in the first paragraph reads, actions at town events and activity on social media platforms should be undertaken with care and sensitivity to this. I think we should somehow add and maybe it's not even in that particular sentence, it's really in any public environment, as you were addressing earlier. If I'm attending something in Idaho Springs and I'm recognized as a board member here, but I'm attending as Mary Smith, Georgetown person, it's not just limited to town events and activities. We wanna broaden that.
Yeah, if you're downtown in Denver, you know, you're still representing the,
I could be, you know, I mean, and it does, I think there are some social.
Well, there's Dr. Cog events that I go to, or the, economic resiliency in Idaho Springs, to your
Well,
point.
but there's
Yeah.
limitations that I think, right, we all, some are more aware of it than others.
Yeah.
Different activities throughout the town or, the community at large. Where our behavior may be scrutinized a little bit differently.
Mhm.
So, I'm just trying to broaden
I'll give you an
that.
example. I mean, one time, during the pandemic,
Band camp.
I was berated out of one of the storefronts because we wanted to limit the amount of people in those storefronts. And, I had to really, bite my tongue and back off, but I really didn't, raise, I didn't lower a gasket or anything like that, but could have been one of those instances where a board member loses their temper and, because there's a difference of opinion on, social issues, things like that.
Well, and so we're trying to offer some parameters to some situations that we've seen over the last couple of years. And offer clear guidance on that, and so I just think if we broaden that a little bit, that, it doesn't have to be a specific town event.
Right.
So could we,
We're out in the public.
could we change that word town to just public, so it says
Sure,
actions
yeah,
at public
Public,
events?
yeah. Or in the public, is it really an event? All of a sudden, are we gonna, get defined what an event is, If you're out there, you might be, I'm Mary Smith, Board of Selectmen, you're Rob Connell, Board of Selectmen. We're just walking down the street, not picking up dog poop or something, I don't know,
Right.
but I'm just, okay, that's all I got, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Did, Alex have any comments? Can you tell Bridget?
He did not, and he also left.
Oh, and he also, okay, well then, very good. So any other comments or, questions on the code of conduct? So there's a motion in your packet, and obviously we've done some editing and revising here. So Jerry, how should this motion read?
I've got it in front of me, and I think we can probably easily just add to the motion, move to approve resolution, the tail end of the motion, with the corrections as noted during the meeting.
I move to adopt resolution number 2, series 2026. Just so it's noted, series is misspelled, establishing a code of conduct for elected officials and board/commission appointees as amended.
Thank you, second.
So,
Who is that?
Dwayne,
Dwayne, thank you. All in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? Great, okay, so that passes, thank you, that was big. That is important. So your agenda item number 3 is an application to amend subdivision plat. We have discussed this in the past. This is regarding the hospitality unit language that's in the plat. Dennis, did you have any color to add to that? Or I'm sorry, Jerry, do you?
Yes, well, to begin with, it's public hearing. So I
Public
appreciate
hearing,
you
okay.
open the public hearing on the application of land into the amendment subdivision plat.
So I will open a public hearing at this time, and it is 6:53 PM to have a discussion regarding the amendment of the subdivision plat for Bighorn Crossing plat number 1.
All right, thank you. As the board knows, you have seen one of these in the past. So this is identical to the Benjamin Chang plat amendment. There is a process in the code for amending plats. That process that we're following here is actually a process that the board was kind enough to amend into the code to allow Mr. Chang to bring that application forward. And now the second owner of sublot 5, which is one of the townhomes just south of the hotel, has asked to have the same plat notes removed via the mechanism of the plat amendment. The plat notices, again, you might recall, were to designate those townhomes, or at least now under the present rules, named 11 of them. And she's one of the 11 to, as hospitality units that have to be available for rent through the hotel. So you go to the hotel desk and conceivably they could rent you that unit. And they're required to be available for that for a certain amount of time. And effectively, the effect of these plat notes, as expressed to you by Mr. Kang, I think previously, is that there's no way you can long-term rent your unit at all because of these plat notes really prevent that. Separate and apart from that, though, nowhere in Bridgewater Crossing may you rent your unit may you acquire an STR, short-term rental license. And that was an agreement made by the Bighorn developer in 2018 when this project was put together. So that's not what's on the table here. Instead, you have these hospitality units that to some extent look a little like short-term rentals when they're being rented through the hotel, but nevertheless, there's only 11 of them now. And now there's only 10 because Mr. Kang's unit was cleared. This is exactly the same as those other units. I know that still leaves 9, and I can separately talk to you, but it's not that I'm willing to talk about what to do about the remainder. But there are other owners that have reached out to me, and they, to some extent, the owners all have kind of different feelings about this. But today, you've been asked to process an application of subdivision for amendment for Ms. Kim. And so I researched for that. It's exactly the same as Mr. Kang's request. It amends the plat by Xing out a couple plat notes, and it will allow her to be able to then live in her house, not have to ever rent it out to hotel guests, or rent it to, long-term rent it to others. And the reason for having these notes in the first place, again, as I explained to you, way back when the dome was approved in 2018, there was this 50% commercial coverage requirement. And so these units could be, because the plat notes considered to be commercial, and that allowed us to satisfy the 50% rule, and that no longer is necessary now the project's almost all goes out. So I recommend approval. Since it is a public hearing, I think you should ask if I don't think Ms. Kim is on. Is there anyone, Bridget, on line waiting to testify? Okay. So we'll just make the record that Ms. Kim had the right to attend, but it's not required to.
Okay.
And you take any public comment because public hearing, then close the hearing, and then the motion would be in order.
So any public comment here from those in attendance? Very good, hearing none, then,
You close the hearing,
and then make the motion.
and then motion's in order.
So, very good, so we are closing this public hearing at 6:57. Thank you very much.
There's the motion on the bottom of the page of the staff report.
Would anyone like to make that motion?
I can do that.
Okay, Rich?
I move to approve the application of Landline Quinn for an amendment to the plan community plat number 1, Bighorn Crossing subdivision, a re-subdivision of lot 4, block 2, first amended Bighorn Crossing subdivision as presented.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? I have a question.
Yeah, sorry.
On page 5 of 5. Number 13. Is that supposed to stay in here?
It is, because that's the additional hospitality units. You might recall that
Right.
we've got the hospitality units that were required to be rented through the hotel, and the hospitality units that court may be rented through the hotel. Hers is one of the requirements. So that this plat note, while it's of concern to other people, does not affect her sublot fund.
But it doesn't remove it from the others.
It doesn't remove nothing the others.
Mhm.
And if the others want it removed, it's a similar process.
It would be a
We do
different,
something else.
but these. Because the construction in that entire development has changed so many times over the years. This is still applicable, this number 13, or could be,
Yeah,
okay,
It is.
all right, and then just item number 14, there's just a misspelling on that for sure. That needs to be corrected,
Okay.
thank you.
So does the motion need to be amended to include the correction that Mary noted?
It was a typo.
It was a typo, very good,
I always fix typos and feel that they don't have to be in it.
very good. Okay, thank you very much. So we have a motion made by Rich Barrows and we have a second by Dwayne Jazinski. All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you very much. Okay, that plat adjustment has been approved. Your next action item is an ordinance adopting the fine schedule for the town pursuant to the IGA. Dennis, is that something you want to address?
I just want to say a couple things before handing this over to Jerry. This is the result of the additional work we have to do to accommodate the IGA with Michigan County Sheriff's Office. And it is a lot of work, and I commend Jerry and his team for doing this because they had to go through all of the offenses, review the offenses, and then also attach proper fine numbers to those, and trying to match those up with what the county offers so that everybody's kind of on the same page, dealing with the same fines. And all I had to do was get a couple phone calls and tell them I want $150 here. So Jerry, thank you very much. If you could just go through the process here and why this is important.
You bet, you bet. Thanks for that intro, because Dennis is absolutely right. This is one of the things that the board needs to do as a result of the intergovernmental agreement for police services with the county. And it's what it allows now the county judge to do, among other things, is to render a decision to hear and try cases that involve Georgetown municipal code violations. You'll recall that you did pass a resolution authorizing the judge to do that. I then had a meeting with the judge and some folks from the county to go through what the structure that the town's putting together, because we'll now be relying on the county court to process and enforce violations or process tickets when the deputy sheriffs write those tickets. This does not preclude the town, obviously, from at any point in time reanimating or its municipal court. We haven't eliminated municipal court, but presently the violations will go to county court. And in that meeting, county court judge and the sheriff's office folks said, well, what you've done is fine in terms of empowering us, but we're getting our system ready to enable the deputies to issue tickets based upon this digital spreadsheet that they will have, that if they pull someone over, if they find someone with a barking dog, or if they find someone boating on Georgetown Lake without the appropriate safety equipment, because these are all town code violations, that they are able to pull it up on the schedule and go, okay, now I'm issuing a ticket based upon this giant schedule they have. And so they shared with me their format for the schedule that they're using already, or that they're developing. And I use that same format to create, with the great help of the paralegal at our firm, to create the list of Georgetown specific violations, because sheriff's deputies aren't used to writing tickets for boating on Georgetown Lake and for, believe it or not, washing clothes or something like
I
that.
saw that.
In
You can't wash.
in
your
the
baby
in Clear Creek, can't do that here in town. So it's amazing
I
what,
mean, it makes sense.
it's amazing what things you find when you read the whole.
Public indecency.
Did you ever give anyone a fine for bathing when you were the judge?
Never.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Nevertheless, you know, the sheriff's deputies need that help, and so, paralegal and I went through the whole code. And we identified, and you'll see the section, it's an educational experience to see the various, you know, local code challenges we have. They fall into really, about 4 categories. One category is the Georgetown specific ordinance violations that are really classic for towns to have. You know, obstructing a street, putting things on the sidewalk, stuff in the creek and on the lake. That's very unique, and those are all in there. That's one category. Another category of animal offenses, and it was very important to the county. They have a resolution for animal control as well, and they have some offenses that match up with the Georgetown offenses. And for ease for the deputies, we want to make sure if they're writing an offense for a dog, they don't want to have to check, well, is this a town one or a county one? And so we matched up the fine numbers that the county's already imposed for some animal offenses with the applicable Georgetown offense, so that there's not that concern. Georgetown has some animal offenses the county doesn't have, and for those, that's fine, I left them in, I added offense amounts. So that's category 2. Category 3 is traffic. And that's not in the schedule yet. The town has the model traffic code. The town adopted the 2020 model traffic code, I think. I think I'm right. I'm gonna do that. The county's at the 2010 model traffic code, oddly enough, which is really pretty old. I was on the phone today with the county attorney's office and their staff at the county, and we agreed that the county intends to adopt the 2024 model traffic code. I will be presenting to you in the next month or two an ordinance to get the town to adopt the 2024 model traffic code. And we'll make sure the local amendments, there are always a couple of local amendments, are the same. So that the deputies, when they write speeding, whatever, when they write failure to signal, whatever, it's the same offense, whether it's under the county model traffic code or the town model traffic code. So there's that category. The last category are sort of criminal offenses that you wouldn't want to have a set fine for: shoplifting, theft, assault. These are all things that most of them anyhow are criminal offenses, and I had to, I'll shut up in a minute, I appreciate your patience, but I had to add some language in this ordinance that limits the authority of the presiding judge in certain circumstances because of this decision of the Supreme Court in December, saying, gee, if you're, and it was someone who was arrested for shoplifting, I think in Aurora, the prosecutor in Aurora and sentenced, the Aurora shoplifting offense is identical to a state code offense for shoplifting. And the defendant in that case said, well, that's a due process violation because the state violation numbers are less than the Aurora code. And so I was exposed to the potential for a fine greater than in Aurora, greater than what the state, if I'd been just charged in state court. Now, honestly, until that decision, that's been happening across the state and nobody thought that was a problem. But you were written into the Aurora court, so that's how come you're subject to the Aurora court penalties. And that has been fine forever, and the Supreme Court woke up and said no. And they said no unanimously, one judge not participating, so we stuck with that. That meant I had to add the material that you see on the second page of the ordinance, and no matter what, for identical conduct, you're limited to the penalties in the state code. So that's what this ordinance does. It puts together this chart. I am convinced that probably on second reading, I might have some refinements to that because the sheriff's office is still looking at each of these and they may have some concerns. There's a lot of detail. So I'm just kind of warning you that when I come on second reading, I might have a revised and improved exhibit A to this ordinance. The last thing I'll tell you is that in the conversation today, I talked specifically with them about, all right, no matter how these tickets are written, if it's an offense that took place in Georgetown, will Georgetown see the revenue for the fine revenue? And the answer is yes. Even for the traffic offenses, they'll be able to identify those as taking place in Georgetown. They programmed into their ticket writing system that there will be a little G or a little denominator that shows that this activity took place in Georgetown, and we'll be able then to receive the revenue even before we do the 2024 model traffic code adoption. And I was very pleased to hear that. I was fearful that we'd have to wait until we had that in place before we could start getting traffic ticket revenue. And the answer, I believe, is that we'll get it right away. Thanks for your patience and listening to this long story here. There may well be other changes and little things we'll have to do as we sort of launch this program. And so I'm warning you that maybe one or two other little fixes a month or two from now, we'll have learned something that requires a slight modification, but like any new thing, you have to get the bugs out.
Thank you. Very good, thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
Any questions on this?
No.
Okay, you have a motion in your packet. Does someone like to make that motion?
Move to approve ordinance number 1/2026, adopting a fine schedule for town code violations and conforming the same with the state laws on the first reading.
Second? Second. All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, that passes. And next up in our packet is the letter regarding the library. So we have representatives here. This is a purchase agreement for the town to acquire the John Tomei Memorial Library building. And Dennis, did you want to start off with that?
Yes, thank you. This has been a project we've been working on for some time, along with the DLA and the Friends. And, just as a summary of the memo that you have in front of you, the board met some time ago and authorized us to make an offer to the GLA, which we did, and you've seen that offer letter that we sent. I attended the meeting of the GLA on the 18th over at the old school with Kasia. And the GLA voted unanimously to accept our offer. And the one thing that I will describe to you is that Sophie, who is the chair of the GLA, started her comments by, when she first read our proposal, she was a little offended by us offering only $1 for that building. But when she read further into the proposal and she thought about it, she understood exactly what we were constructing and proposing. It's a community project. It's one that on both sides of the same taxpayers basically being affected. So, and you can read in Sophie's very nice and generous letter of acceptance that is included in your packet. The GLA too stood forward and understood what this was, and it wasn't a real estate transaction. So they did accept our offer for $1, understanding the amount of money that the board is going to be putting into renovating that facility based on the architect's renovation. And I'm very happy that, and I've been boasting about this quietly internally until tonight, now it comes back to me, that we were able to work with the GLA and put together an agreement and get the agreement written and get it in front of you for an approval long before the other group was able to come to an agreement on the old school. So I was very happy about that. But just recently, one of the new members of the GLA is an attorney, and she asked if she could review it because she's brand new and she wanted to do her due diligence. And so she's gonna do that, and if any changes come from the board after that, then Jerry's gonna work with Bart to incorporate those if they happen. So with that, this evening, I'm going to put out two options for you, and that should be part of your discussion. The group could approve the purchase agreement this evening that's before you, with the understanding that if additional changes come from the GLA side, we can bring that back to you on the 27th, and you could approve those final changes. Or just wait for the whole kit caboodle, push it off to the 27th after you have your conversation this evening, and we can come back on the 27th and approve the whole thing the first time, and it's all done. So if you have any questions about any of the specifics of the deal, I can try to answer those for you.
So the new board attorney for the GLA, they'll have reviewed it, suggested changes before the 27th.
I think so.
That's,
She couldn't be here tonight. Let me just pause right here. I just want to acknowledge that we've got great people in the audience here. Carolyn Cassell just made a comment, Ellen Elliott, Tom Elliott, and Barbara Downing, who represent the GLA, correct? And the library district as well. So we can also address questions to them, and we're very happy that you're here. Thank you, Rich. Go ahead.
Rob, I talked to Bart Miller, I've talked to Bart Miller
Rich. Yeah.
several times, sorry. On this as we evolved, in fact, I spoke with him in the car driving up on the way here. And he indicated as much that the new board member had just gotten this. And I understand when you get a 4-page or whatever contract, it might well have comments. It's a very standard form. I'd be surprised if there's a lot of requests for change, but we can certainly, I'm happy to receive any changes she made, that she recommends, and we can figure it out.
so there would be significant changes
I
that would hold up the possible transaction.
It would come back to us if there are significant changes, and then we would have to make our decision whether we're going to continue forward or not. I'd rather have the done deal in front of us before we vote on it.
I can feel the same way.
I think this is, yeah,
Yep, and there's no hurry because if you read through the agreement, you know we have to wait. You can't even schedule closing until the other deal is.
Yeah.
Is
Right.
finalized.
Just my questions is, I mean, what is the time frame currently?
Well, currently, as I understand it, the only thing that's holding up, the, acceptance of the contract, or rather the acceptance from the school, the library board is, getting a structural engineer hired to inspect the school and give us a written, opinion that it will hold library books and stacks and like that.
Wait.
It's taken some, quite a while to get somebody to do this, but we have somebody lined up. And, it's not gonna happen before next week, our January library board meeting, but it should happen by the February meeting. I can't imagine it going beyond that. And we don't think there's a problem, but we just
But, yeah,
need something
obviously.
tonight.
Yeah, I don't see issue with waiting until the 27th.
So
Personally.
should we just move to table, should I make a motion to table this?
Can I stop you for a minute? If anybody has any questions that they know of about the agreement, that they want to throw at me so I can work on this before the next meeting, please email me. But yeah, the appropriate action will be to table this until January 27th.
So I'll
We
make
need
a motion to table.
Mary, are you making?
I'm making a motion to table
I'll
this.
second it.
Okay,
Rob?
thank you. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. This motion will be tabled until January 27th, when we hope we have, the comments from the GLA. Thank you all for attending. We really appreciate you being here. And thank you for being so patient.
We're really
Very
excited.
quietly. Yeah, we're very excited about the motion. Very,
Yeah, we
very
have it on,
excited.
yes.
Thank you. So the next item up is agenda item number 6. There's no cover page for this, but it's this resolution number 3 regarding posting locations. And were you speaking to that, Dennis, or?
Yes, this is another housekeeping matter where annually we establish our posting location for public notices. And Jerry has written this again, like he does. The 3, you'll see in section 1, the 3 locations that you're designating this evening are the website, Georgetown Town Hall, and the official newspaper being the Clear Creek Courant as your posting.
No, the official, but we don't post our meetings in a newspaper.
No, but we post other things.
Right.
You know,
And that's why I wrote it to say, for matters required to be so public.
Okay.
You'll notice there's a blank for number 1,
Mhm.
and Bridget, I had written this, but I was in most cities that are doing this now. Give you we have to insert the stage directions for, go to the website, pull down tab number, whatever, and go to page whatever, and Bridget promised me she'd be ready in this meeting to tell you what goes in there.
Yes. We don't have to change.
So while she's looking up, it's just a courtesy that we posted in the library or in the post office or wherever, but officially, we are only saying we're required to put it on the website and town hall. That's
Yeah,
it.
the
Okay,
statute,
just,
yeah,
I
the
just want to
statute,
make that,
the statute,
I think that was
yes.
simple and easy.
has told local governments, we want you to be posted on the website. But, the statute does say that if you post on the website, you have also got to say where there will be a physical posting if the website goes down, whatever, for any reason. And what most cities are doing, frankly, is probably still doing both because they kind of cling to some public, stamp it, put a pin in it. If you have a website, that's good, but in your ordinance, you've got to also say, oddly enough, here's where you can find it. If the website's not working.
Essentially.
Yeah.
I'll also throw in that at the end of the year, when we're moved to the library, that will become town hall, so this will still be the same. We won't have to change that because the posting will be town hall. And by not including the library, now we don't have that other,
But the address will be right.
the address will be different, yes.
But don't jump to that because we tabled that issue, so.
I know, I'm
Exactly.
still holding my breath.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm so sorry, I didn't have this, printed. So it'll read, you'll go to the Town of Georgetown URL. And then it'll go town government, boards and commissions, board of selectmen. On that page, agendas and minutes, 2026. And then it'll be posted within that menu. And that will be filled in by the time that Georgia comes to sign this.
Terrific. Thanks.
Thank you, Bridget. So any comments or questions on this? Okay, so let's see, we need a motion to accept this resolution for the Board of Selectmen for the town of Georgetown, Colorado, designating official hosting locations for town public notices in 2026. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, that resolution passes, and Bridget will get that website info for that. Okay, last on the agenda items is agenda item number 7, which is the water court cases. And Jerry, is this you or Dennis? Okay,
It's really, from your water lawyers who've represented the town for a very long time.
and do we have someone online? Did you have?
This was promoted to cancel the joining in home.
Okay.
Andrea,
Okay, Andrea Benson. Okay.
listen, just a little bit as a precursor here, so we understand what's happening. When there are water-related lawsuits filed, the town, if it's involved, then also has the option of being an opposer, which means that we could oppose the action that's requested, so that we can also get additional information and confirm that it's accurate. And so the town has typically done that automatically, serving as an opposer so that we can accomplish that. In the past, these have been stipulated to, and Ryan would sign off on those stipulations and then move forward. But it's my belief that any kind of legal action that the town should be authorizing should come before your board, the board of selectmen, to do that. So Andrea handles this for us. Andrea's here this evening. If you want to, Andrea, we've kind of briefed you on what the questions might be from the board this evening, and take it from there, I guess.
Hi, Andrea.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. And so a bit of a summary. I think that was a great summary of why Georgetown gets into other water court cases, because Georgetown has very valuable water rights itself that it needs to protect. And anytime a new water court application is filed, it could potentially impact Georgetown's existing water rights. It could potentially increase calls on the river, decrease physical flow in the river. Various things can happen. So every single month there is a water resume that's published that we review on behalf of the town to see what types of water court cases might impact the town of Georgetown's water rights. And there are 7 different water court divisions. We review just Division 1, and we typically just look at cases that impact Clear Creek and any area that may potentially, impact Georgetown's water rights on any tributary to the South Platte. So we are currently in 2 water court cases that we recommended the town oppose. One was in opposition to the city of Blackhawk, and Blackhawk owns many different water rights. This particular case involved some water rights for storage in Green Lake and some exchanges, meaning they would use water supplies downstream of Green Lake, but they would deliver it and divert it into Green Lake upstream. And so those are considered exchanges. And these exchanges involved many different locations on Clear Creek, but including, most importantly, water stored on behalf of Blackhawk in Georgetown Lake. So we were particularly interested in this case to make sure that the actual accounting and the operation of the storage of their water rights and release of those water rights and exchange of those water rights out of Georgetown Lake were operated properly and in priority and in support of the claims that they made in their case. So as is typical in all water court cases, the applicant here, Blackhawk, circulated a draft proposed decree to all of the opposers, as well as engineering report that supported their claims. And Alperstein and Covell, and now it was previously Cindy Covell, and now I will review those materials together with Georgetown's water rights engineer over at Martin Wood. This one I worked with Tara Moninger, and we both reviewed the engineering and the proposed decree to see, whether those claims were appropriate, whether they were supported by the evidence. There were various different rounds of comments, meaning opposers can review those materials, send questions and comments to Blackhawk. They would then respond with either revised materials or additional evidence. This happened in this case over the course of approximately, I think it was about a year. And so we did review materials and provided our comments, and with the revised materials that were sent back to us and the additional engineering materials that were sent back to us, both Tara and I agreed that the proposed ruling that they have presented to us is sufficient to protect Georgetown's interests, as well as supports the claims they made in that case. So we would recommend that the town stipulate to this version of the decree, which means that once the town stipulates to a particular version of a decree, the applicant here Blackhawk must go to finalize this case with terms and conditions that are at least as restrictive on Blackhawk as those that Georgetown has stipulated to. And the benefit of stipulation is that we don't have to continue expending time and cost and expense on participating in the case. Certainly not going to trial, because that's very costly. So that's why we recommend early settlement as soon as we can. So a little bit of background generally on how we handle these cases, and that Blackhawk case in particular.
Thank you very much. Any questions on this exchange with Blackhawk? You're a water person, Rob. Yeah.
No, I mean, when it comes to water law, I went to Andrew. There you go.
So what would the impact have been to Georgetown? I'm not even sure I understand. Is that because they're taking water out of the Georgetown Lake ultimately?
Well, the impact of this particular case is that this case involves Blackhawk's conditional water rights. So in Colorado, you can have both conditional and absolute water rights. So here in this case, they're not only trying to maintain the conditional portions of their water rights, but they're trying to make a portion of them absolute. So that meant that once they get through water court and get an absolute water right, then it's, set in stone and they don't have to come back to water court again. So the interest in this particular case primarily was to make sure that their claims were supported by the evidence that they did in fact operate these water rights in accordance with their prior decrees and in priority. The impact of Georgetown not opposing the case would essentially be that Blackhawk could have gotten an absolute water right based on potentially no evidence at all, or lack of compliance with original terms and conditions. So that's why we like to monitor and participate in these types of cases.
Thank you. That's great.
Thanks for protecting those rights.
Yes, absolutely. It's so critical. Okay, thank you. So no questions on the Blackhawk? Okay, great. So the next one is about a public service company.
And public service company in this case, this is a change of water rights case. And these are particularly important to protect Georgetown's interests, because anytime somebody files an application to change a water right, there's a potential for expanding the use and the historic use of the original water right for what it was originally decreed for. And so we want to make sure, because when Georgetown got their water rights and is operating their water rights under the current system, we're operating it assuming these water rights are operating as they always historically had. So anytime there's a change, we want to make sure that there's no expansion of use and there's no other type of potential injury to town's water rights. Here, this was a public service company case changing Fisher Ditch, which is the senior ditch right. They had actually changed this water right in a previous case. And so a lot of the terms and conditions to protect the town of Georgetown were already adjudicated in that previous case. But in this case, they were wanting to change them further so they could use them at different locations and for different uses. There's various different storage locations here, including Wallstrom Quarry, which is downstream of Georgetown, as well as some other locations that public service owns and operates. So we recommended the town get into this particular case to make sure that any further change was not only in compliance with that prior decree, ensuring protective terms and conditions, but that any of these changed uses at these new locations would be in compliance with that or would incur additional terms and conditions that were necessary to protect Georgetown's water rights on Clear Creek. So we went through the similar process here where we got copies of, various different versions of decrees and engineering reports supporting their claims. And again, with Tara, we reviewed those materials and we feel like the current version that we're looking at right now is sufficient to protect the town's interest. So we would recommend that decree too, so we can get out and not participate any further in this case.
Very good. Thank you so much. Any other questions?
Oh, one more clarifying thing. When we do stipulate, just want to say that that doesn't make it completely stop our participation entirely. We will stipulate to a decree, but we will continue to monitor any further revisions just to make sure that those further revisions are in compliance with our stipulation and don't, change the game. So there is a minimal participation after stipulation is filed, but it's much less than what would be if we were fully active opposers.
Great. Again, thank you so much. So any questions on this one?
No.
Rob? No? Okay, very good. So there's a motion in your packet and would someone like to make that motion?
I will make that motion. I move to authorize Alfred Stephen Cobell to execute the stipulations for case number 24CW 3179 and case number 24CW 3058 on behalf of the town of Georgetown.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Rob? Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful, thank you. And thank you so much for being online with us.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate that.
Thank you. And if there's nothing further, then I will log off.
All right, thank you. Have a good rest of your evening.
Good night.
All right, so next on the agenda, I do have some comments on the police report section. I attended last Thursday, the I-70 Coalition meeting, and you guys may have noticed if you've been on I-70 that there's been these emblems put on the left-hand lane saying no semi-trucks can go there, and that was something Dylan Roberts has been working on. So he was very happy to see that, and that's supposed to keep semis out of the left lanes and reduce their speed and noise and whatnot. I don't know if any of you had followed, sorry?
It looks like an elephant.
Yeah, it does. I know, it's kind of a strange thing, but many of you may have followed the proposed rezoning at Bakerville for a truck stop. That rezoning application has been removed or withdrawn because they received a lot of community feedback not in support of that. So I just wanted to touch on that here. Also, the Colorado State Patrol talked about fatalities on I-70, and this is more than just Clear Creek County, but in 2021, there were 15 fatal crashes on this I-70 corridor, and they're down to 10, with six being in Clear Creek County. So you can see, first of all, that we have a huge number of them, but the numbers are really going down. And they really felt that that was because of their presence being more visible and all of that. So that was very good news. this morning I attended the mayors and commissioners.
Really fast, can I ask a question
Of
about
course.
this? Did the state patrol talk at all, because we've heard about this from stakeholders? The noise ordinances, I know, I mean, Polis came here and
He did.
signed the noise ordinance in front
That's
of
right.
all of us. Did they give any data on enforcement? And we know that we're hearing from stakeholders, they don't believe it's being enforced very well.
I think it's hard to enforce it is what I've heard. Now, first of all, let me say that they did not address it at the I-70 coalition meeting, but I've heard from the commissioners at various meetings that it's very difficult to enforce because you gotta catch somebody when they're coming down the hill with their Jake brakes on or whatever it is. So that is a difficult item, but I'll follow up and see if I can find out anything else on that. Cause that is, I hear them at my house all the time and it's really
I
bad.
just know we've had people in the community.
We've come to this board and requested our assistance and support in pursuing
Yeah.
it. And
No, so thank you for bringing that up. Any other questions on that?
Sometimes like something's got a low flying plane. Sometimes it sounds like a low flying plane.
It does. It's incredibly loud because it bounces off all of the,
Right,
yeah, size of the mountains here.
that's my Eldorado.
So, at the mayors and commissioners meeting this morning, there's a lot of conversation about the roundabout bus. Its funding, right now it is funded. So that's not a problem for this year, but future funding could be at risk. And so there's a lot of concern about that. There was a lot of conversation about possibly trying to work something with the Loveland ski area to see if there's a way to partner with them. Also talk about Georgetown and Idaho Springs becoming the resort. Ask the arm of the Loveland ski area to try and get people to stay here, to try to get people to, really look at us as don't just blow through our towns, but actually stay here. Lot of economic impacts to employees. There are a lot of employees in the county who do use the roundabout bus. I've actually never looked at the calendar or the scheduling and the maps of the roundabout bus that's online. So I want to do that because, I want to really get familiar with it. Apparently, they make 8 or 9 stops in Georgetown.
The
And
one with the cover, the bus stop that we have is not a bus stop, so.
it's not a bus stop now. Okay, yeah, so I want to look at their routes. They also said that sometimes they do customized routes, but that's difficult because then people want to be able to count on when the bus is coming, and so they're kind of going back to a more standardized schedule of this is where we're gonna be at this time and
It's
when.
also used by a lot of teens. It's also used by a lot of younger people.
Yes.
Who don't have access to cars or
Exactly.
are not old enough to drive. It's used by a lot of elderly people who
That's
don't
right.
wanna drive to Walmart and
That's
on their
right.
own, like they have vehicles, they just get stressed out on I-70 and, it's a
They
real.
go for food. It's a very important population. So apparently in the last 2 years, ridership has tripled.
Yeah.
And so there are 17 to 18,000 rides, not riders, but rides per year on that bus. So that's a lot. That's a lot of use. And it might be 500 to 1,000 people using it. They really don't have that data. So we did ask them for more data so we can break that out and just kind of understand the usage of that. So that is my police judge report. Oh, the gondola opening. So there is going to be a soft opening of the Argo gondola either April or May. And they think it's going to take them a couple of years to reach full capacity of people actually using and going up there and what have you. And they need 157 parking spaces, which they do have land for, and that is part of their development plan that's been approved. But I wanted to bring that to everybody's attention too.
I think economy already been parking, and then they can take the roundabout bus down.
Well, so Idaho Springs is saying, oh yeah, we always have these over here, we have these over here, so. Yeah, same issue everywhere. How do you park and then how do you get where you're going? So, all right, that is mine. And Board of Selectmen, Mary, we can start with you.
Question for Dennis, business promotions, we met on the first Wednesday of this month. And there is a discussion at the commission level regarding an issue that we had brought up here with special event, short-term rental opportunities. And there was a push from the commission to have staff gather some information on that to come back to the commission. I know we had been provided with one document from Boulder for
From Sunday.
yeah.
Right.
So that's still simmering at the BPC level.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, great. Thank you, Rich.
I was out of town when the last time the fire authority met, but I believe, Dennis, you had made an announcement about a change in leadership. Jeremy Jones is our new fire chief. And Kelly will be.
Kelly retired,
He's actually retired from that position, but he'll still be a fire inspector, a full-time employee. And help with that transition. That was the biggest thing from that.
Yeah.
I think they got Jeremy under contract and all that. We couldn't speak to that until he was.
Thank you. Who's now in Jeremy's role? In Banner? Yeah. So they built, it's just been an internal.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. And Alex is not here, so he does not have a report, which we'll probably want to note, Bridget, just when you put together our meetings or minutes. And then Rob?
Well, it looks like our, am I still here?
No, go for it.
So at the University, Colorado University, we met with, these folks and students that, basically did what, do you guys remember the original master plan for the parks? Remember that? This is like this is kind of another master.
Oh, this is
plan.
what they came up with, the students.
Wow. And
Wow.
these guys did a lot of work, they were very, patient with my side comments.
Are you quoted in here?
What?
I don't think so, but I did say that they did want to put a bathroom below the sewer line at Meadows Park and my expertise gave me. Anyway, but this is really cool. This is some some ideas if we wanted to use just for going forward with our parks. And so
Will the students come back and talk to us about this? This is really huge.
Not after I get those. They, I'm sure that, but they're students, so I mean, they've only got 4 years. By the time we roll around to this, they'll probably have been graduated, right?
Right, well, through that, but still, just to discuss their concept that they put so much time into.
They were very, very helpful, but a lot of it was input from us.
Okay.
So in other words,
They are recorded, their presentations, if you're interested,
Yeah.
send you recording from the house.
Oh, very good. Thank you, Kasia. Well, Rob, thank you. It looks like a lot of work and it's a beautiful presentation.
anybody else have handouts? Yeah, I didn't think so. I went.
Occasion brought cookies.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Oh, he knows, he knows.
Those
Yeah.
stuff, handouts.
Cookies always sit up
Quite
there.
helpful.
Thank you. Anything else, Rob, on that? It's
Still has a
great.
beach in the.
I'll throw in, I did ask the advisor if she'd be interested in some additional projects in the future for us, and she went, that was all I got over, so.
Alright, so you appropriately starve them.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I tried to use my sense of humor and,
Uh-oh.
backfire always works. It always, yeah, always works.
Dwayne, any reports or updates?
I couldn't make the last meeting, Keisha filled in for me.
Okay, so Kasia, you don't handle that. Okay, very good. And then Amanda.
Economic resiliency is scheduled to meet in February. So we don't have any updates from that. From a Christmas market standpoint, the community school had a very, very successful brat booth fundraiser. I still don't ever wanna see another bratwurst for at least another 10
11
months.
months.
But total net proceeds, were probably in the neighborhood of about 17,000.
Oh, that's great. That's a lot of
We don't
brats.
have our, we're still waiting on our final bills that we have to pay, but it was a really good fundraiser.
That's
Second
excellent.
weekend was ballistic. So thank you so much to all the volunteers for that, and that's all I have.
Thank you very much. That's great.
You never paid for your brats. Oh, man,
This is our first meeting.
so $17,009.
That was so good.
They were really.
Free.
I mean, it's good. It was really, really good. And also on the note of
Yeah.
the tent, I want to just give huge praises to the incredible efforts of town staff that weekend.
Oh,
Especially the double weekend that I got concussed during. It was terrible.
Jeez.
It was so bad.
Holy
The
man.
first weekend was rough.
The first weekend
yeah,
was
that was
rough.
rough. That was rough.
But we made up for it the second weekend and like
Awesome.
the town staff, thank you so much. HCI, thank you so much. You guys did a really amazing job in the face of,
Oh,
I
Tree lighting,
I
you
didn't
guys
know
were
what that was.
You
incredible.
made me look good, and it was all you, I know you like, you asked me to like do it again, and I was like, you're kidding, right? I would be glad to do that again, but you guys were absolutely spot on, and it wouldn't have been half successful if it wasn't for you guys.
Everybody that participated in that event was great, and I'll tell you, when I turned the corner, it was my first one, right, so I'm loving it.
Yeah.
But when I turned the corner on the big tent on Saturday, because Mary said, hey, the tent's falling down in the back, and I turned the corner and there's Dwayne hanging by the thing, trying to rig it up. I said, this is a community event for sure, everybody's involved, so that's great.
It was, you guys did an amazing job and it was
Thank you. You guys were just great, really,
and
really good.
on the subject of like the second weekend. I was super skeptical of fireworks. I don't know if you're gonna get into this, but I liked the fireworks were 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
I was a little skeptical going into it. I was like, is anyone actually gonna hang? And we did leaf season the first.
yes,
We
yeah, no, it was fabulous.
did.
It was fabulous.
That second weekend was packed.
We did the busiest Saturday we've ever done in December, and it was our third busiest day ever.
Really?
Ever.
At Cooper's, you're
At
talking about,
Cooper's,
yeah,
yes.
right.
Wow.
And bronze. I was doing both.
Yeah.
There's a one,
There's a line
for all
Maybe
day,
it's Amanda.
I couldn't serve it fast enough.
No, it was
crazy.
nuts. Oh, at the sliders, yeah. You guys-
Sliders, brats,
Flyers.
the whole 9 yards, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And I
exciting.
mean, and who was the guy with the glasses, balding, that kept bringing him from? I can't remember his name, he used to come to trivia. He was a hero,
Okay.
cause with the minute we
Community
looked,
center? For the.
was it the community center where they were cooking them? 'Cause-
No, they're putting them in the tent behind them, yeah.
Are you talking the brats or are you talking the community
Brats.
center growth? So you're talking the school.
And the sliders, the guy who was bringing.
He's
us the
talking community
sliders.
center.
He's talking, yeah, you're talking the stuff at Strauss Park,
Right.
that guy.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you
Worked out
guys
well.
very much.
Worked out well.
So moving on, our agenda, town attorney report, Jerry?
Oh, I've taken up enough of your time. I don't have any more tonight. Thank you.
Okay, all right, and then town clerk's report, Bridget, we're at you. And you have something in the packet that you have printed out. Is there anything you want to add to this?
And nothing major, aside from what I have here, I'm learning a couple new. Getting more and more familiar with the stuff every day, which is great, so I'm able to answer all questions, when people call and ask things about utility bills.
Great.
And the rules are rolling in, so that's taking us my turn.
That's wonderful, thank you. And town treasurer report, Hugh, you also have something in the packet, anything that you want to add or comment on there?
So your sales tax numbers for November is roughly 101,000. I don't have a breakdown at the moment, but those numbers came in last week.
Do you have any idea how that compares to last year, November 24? We don't know what that looks like. Okay, very good. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, and next we have Kasia, Assistant Town Administrator. Kasia, you also have a report in here. Is there anything you wanted to add or comment on?
Yeah, so I mentioned in this report that we have the express bill pay training for staff scheduled on Thursday. We are planning on soft launching that on Friday, which means that it will be live. We will not be telling people about it necessarily. We want to hard launch it to the public February 1st. So we'll be sending out mailers. Annalie is working on literature for everybody. We're putting together a marketing plan in general that Dennis will talk about. She's going to be setting up training sessions for people at the community center if they need assistance getting onto the system. It's pretty easy, but we want, we know some people struggle with technology and we think that or any kind of software rollout. It's just a good idea to be as proactive as possible to make sure that people have opportunities to come and to learn about it without having to just call us or come into town hall individually, which is fine too. They, of course, are gonna do that, and that's gonna be fine. So we're really excited because it's gonna be great. I'm really excited about it.
And that's this handout, right, that we have?
Yeah.
You're gonna talk about that?
I'm not going, I just wanted you to know that that's what Paige is talking
That's
about.
what she's talking about.
Anna's put together a very comprehensive rollout schedule here. And if you look at it and you think it might be excessive, it's not. We really want to encourage people to move to this because it benefits not only them, but the staff and the town's budget too, because we're moving these resources to this technology improvement. So it's
Yeah.
important. And even past February 27th on this thing, we're gonna continue to market this as one of the key things that people can utilize from the organization.
Wonderful.
I forgot to mention, Anna's doing a really great job on social media too.
She is. Yeah, social media was great.
We'll say this, you're gonna have this, don't you think there ought to be a tray under it?
Yeah, we gotta stand that up. We have to make time. Okay, we're not there yet, Rob. Don't leave the head. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, when I write these reports, I only kind of go 2 weeks back, but regarding
fine.
the fireworks, I've gotten a ton of positive
Oh,
feedback on
I've heard
that.
nothing but
Nice.
positive.
Yeah, folks downtown said that there were a lot of people that stayed, that they did get
Yes.
better business because of it. It was
Tremendous.
supposed to be the idea,
Tremendous.
was this would be an economic boost for people
Tremendous.
staying in the community longer, so. And, community members just thought it was really magical, so.
Yeah.
So, it was so great.
It was so good.
Such a good job.
I
We're
don't.
entering our Disney phase.
Well, don't get crazy, but, yeah, that was a really fun thing to watch. Just a couple other things, I just wanted to give you a heads up that, Kelly Babian, Inspector Kelly Babian will be, coming in to talk to you about the Wildland Urban Interface Fire Code at some point, so, that'll be on a future agenda. And
Maybe we can call him Chief Inspector and then.
Yeah.
Here you go. I like that.
I think that inspector would be good if you had like the oversight. Well, magnifying.
Good luck to you.
So the French accent.
Yeah.
Good luck to you,
You can always
that's
be
like that.
I would call him chief to his face, whatever, but in this setting, I think.
Call him Chief
Inspector,
Inspector.
Chief
Yeah.
Inspector Babian is appropriate,
He's a CI.
and then, you wanted to talk about the Excel power outage, and so I thought I would just chime in on a little bit of things that I did during that. We were in contact with the county emergency manager the entire time, and we did opt not to send a text out at the encouragement of the county manager. She felt like Excel needed to do that because they're a private company, and she didn't want us to utilize our texting emergency resource because she wants that to be used only for like really serious situations.
Who are you talking to specifically?
Clarissa.
Okay.
Yes.
She's the emergency management.
She's literally the emergency manager for the county, yes, and she does a very good job.
Yeah.
She's done a lot of trainings.
Just all I can think of is that Silence of the Lambs, looks like.
It sounds a what?
Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, Clarissa. That's Clarice.
Yeah.
Creepy.
But we did determine, we were talking with a lot of people, and because we were concerned about the power being out and heat at the same time, we did decide to activate our shelter, which is the community center. And we didn't end up needing it because the power came back on, but luckily we had some power downtown, which was unexpected. We opened the shelter for people to come charge and heat up. And thank you to Georgia and Rich and to Jesse down at Idaho Springs and a couple other people and Jamie.
Jamie was good.
For volunteering to staff that if needed. We didn't, again, end up deploying that, but we sort of had the shelter ready to go in case any community members didn't have a source of heat overnight, so.
Great. And they didn't have a source of heat over.
If they did not have a source of heat overnight.
Most of the community did not have a source of heat overnight.
Over that Friday night.
Unfortunately, there wasn't the communication. I don't wanna debrief this, but there was not the communication to the community that existed.
Right.
We didn't open the this is Saturday that I'm talking about, so the
But
shelter,
Saturday it came back, so.
right,
Well, that is
Supposed to be out
fine.
until- that's the thing that was so frustrating, was it was supposed to be out until Sunday. I mean, I'm glad it wasn't, but I think that the biggest opportunity, obviously, there's some communication gaps that, you know, we could address at the town level. But I think at a bigger level, Excel's communication was horrific.
Mm-hmm.
And it negatively impacted a lot of us. I mean, especially, I mean, on the business side, we were all scrambling. We were in Denver when we found out we weren't in a position to react. And we all ended up, the restaurants, all of us went in on a trailer to bring up, and then we ended up, literally as the trailer was getting dropped off,
The power came
the power came on. So that was our way. We were all like trying to preserve what we could still salvage, and I still don't know. My insurance claim is still pending. I don't know what anybody else's, like, Excel's not covering anything on this. This is all going through insurance, but even my insurance company is probably gonna deny my claim because they said that they don't have anyone to go after because Excel has indemnification.
I think our
Well, it's almost like an
concern
act of
is
God.
They're not, cause they don't have a precedent for it. And I don't know what the status is of anybody, I don't know what anybody else is doing, and I can't talk more about mine until it's sorted out, but just kind of as a baseline. You know, when Excel's communicating to us that the power is gonna be out, we're reacting as such, and obviously it was great that it came back on. But it wasn't enough for us to do anything about it.
You can't have people just standing around waiting.
Oh, no,
for
literally.
it, and then decide to turn it on.
No, I mean.
I would anticipate that this is going to happen again
Yeah, it will.
because the conditions.
It will.
The conditions are going to continue to exist.
Mhm.
And maybe Excel handles it a little bit better the next time, but I think
No.
not here, not now. We should discuss how Georgetown wants to roll this out.
That's what I thought.
I can appreciate the county wanting to do it a certain way, Idaho Springs wants to do it a certain way, and I think Georgetown should have a method that we are planning for now, just as in the past, there has been some emergency management planning that has gotten us to this point. Just because it happened 3 weeks ago, and we were damn lucky that it was warm out, and blah, 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 blah.
No kidding.
But, you know, so sooner rather than later, whether it's a work session or whatever, I think we need to address how we would like to help our own community.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be important for a future date. Obviously, as you're saying, not for right now, but I think it's, really good. Glad you brought that up. I had a quick thing I wanted to mention. The great little ice skating rink up here, something is leaking.
We made it.
And it's
we made
very
it-
pretty
We
blue.
made it blue, it's eco-friendly, if anybody.
Oh, I'm sure it is, right. But
Um,
is it just the overflow from the rink?
No, it's too warm and
It's too warm.
we were hoping it would freeze, but it is
Yeah.
melting, and so we are sort of addressing it.
Yeah.
I kinda noticed that the one at the Worland Park has a constant strain.
Right.
We did fix that leak.
Oh, that
Last
was a
time we
leak?
checked.
Okay.
For when we talked about it this morning.
And I didn't wanna dwell on it, but I just wanna, I've been meaning to
Well,
mention
let's
it.
be practical,
Thank you.
right? The water freezes, it's great. If the water doesn't freeze, it's gonna go somewhere. that's another
Absolutely.
way. So.
I just wanted to know if it was a leak or.
Oh, yeah, I understand, but I'm just prefacing that.
Yeah.
I'm ready to tell you, it's gonna be a shocker if it works this year, because the next 2 weeks are supposed to be warm.
Yeah.
Do we have any
That cardinal.
updates on the status of lake usage? Obviously, I mean, I know we're fighting.
Well, and the
Well,
pond hockey tournament's on.
That's what I'm worried about at
You
this
know?
point. I've written off any hope of ice driving, but
I don't think that pond hockey tournament's gonna happen.
I don't
We-
think so.
the pond hockey
Based on what we
tournament's
have,
happening.
We don't know.
Thursa came out on Monday, they measured the ice in about 20 different places. The average depth of the ice was 4 inches. However, there are still areas of ice that are completely unfrozen.
Yeah.
For ice driving, it has to be 15 inches thick.
Yeah. 15 inches, did you say?
Yeah, one,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did they measure on the lagoon side too? Or just the
No,
base
just
side?
the ice driving area.
Good.
They're going to come out this week and next as well, and we'll be updating on any changes. Pond hockey has been up here doing signage to try to discourage fishermen from compromising the ice, because they're hoping and praying that our ice is gonna be thick by mid-February, so.
Well, that'll be an ongoing measurement process. Thank you, guys. All
Have
right,
we
Dennis?
posted anything as long as we're talking about ice in the lake? Have we posted anything down there? Because for the people who don't understand.
The Darwin Awards that are happening.
Yeah, they're kidding, and they're on the thinnest part.
I know.
Walking around.
Where the canal, they're putting their kids out there.
Yeah, the youngest ones are out there. It's
Do we
terrible.
post them?
There were safety cones and signs were posted in the lagoon to keep people off the lagoon so that there wouldn't be any more damage to the ice.
I'm talking the lakes.
Trying to get the pond hockey prepped for. On the lake, we don't have any signs yet that are more aggressive than were already there, that if you go on the lake, it's at your own risk. I have talked to Kelly twice now. Kelly has been out there handing out little brochures to people that show them, here's what to look for if you're worried, if you're gonna go on the ice, you have to look for, this means that the ice is safe right here, or this means that and did you know that the ice melts from the bottom up, all of that kind of stuff. So he's been very active doing that. And then we've sent the sheriff's office out there when there are too many people on the ice.
Okay.
So, I mean, short of closing down the county property,
I know we can't keep them
Yeah.
off or close it, I understand that.
And it sounds like we're doing what we can to protect
trying.
the town, yeah.
Bridget and I just talked this morning about actually closing the lake down, if it gets too bad. So
Yeah.
we would do that in conjunction with the county since they own most of the lake.
Did you want to go ahead and launch into your town administrator report?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't wait. Mary skipped over this, but, he and I received word that the Prop 123 land bank was recently approved by CHAPA, so that's Kurt's affordable housing thing. The oddball thing though is that they only approved $1 million and not the $2.2 million, I think, that he was originally planning on receiving for the property. That doesn't change anything for the town, it's just less money that Kurt's gonna receive for the sale of that property. Let's see, CCSO, they are scheduling their first attendance in front of you since the IGA was signed, so the appointed contact for Georgetown is Dave, and he will be attending January 27th meeting, so you can look forward to that. He's already talking to me and how excited he is about all the crime data he's gonna bring and show you, so that's gonna be cool. In front of you is a copy of the article out of the newspaper about our IGA. It's fun to finally see this be reported. And I think it comes out in a good light for both organizations, and I think you'll be impressed with that too. I was. Interesting that you mentioned Loveland and the bus. A couple weeks ago, I reached out to Loveland and we have a meeting scheduled to try to organize an expansion of the bus service from Georgetown to the ski resort. So hopefully something will come of that and I'll bring something back to you. I really think, and Katie and I have had conversations about this, if we can somehow expand the way that people can get from Georgetown to the ski area, and even if we have to subsidize that just a little bit, that would be a huge benefit for the business community.
Because right now it's only for employees.
Well, the county's talking about doing the same thing because apparently there's a Loveland employee bus that goes from the Loveland ski area to Idaho Springs, and it's
Yeah.
a pretty good one, and so they wanna be.
They go all the way down to Dinosaur. They drive all the way down the hill.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's they've
No, it
kind
makes
of got
sense.
some experience with regard to running a bus service.
I agree.
Well, the reason I reached out on my own was because in conversations with Colton, the county's not in position to devote resources towards expanded bus services. And I think that's what you kind of heard about the roundabout, right?
That's
That
right.
Yeah.
They have increased ridership, but they don't have the money to support that long term. And Colton brought that to me some time ago. So we've been talking about ways that we can maybe maintain that level of ridership, but maybe
Yeah.
benefit Georgetown a little bit more.
Is he still the county commissioner or the county town administrator elected, or is he?
Is the
He is. Did he get
county
hired?
entity manager.
He got tired?
I thought he was a city manager. I'm a manager.
Okay, you wanted to talk about the audit. The audit is done. It was given to me on Friday with a request to read through the one final time, and if I had any changes. Lorraine has read through it. Lorraine's assistant Michelle has read through it. So it is done. It's just one last proofread, and then you'll be getting it when it's finalized. Is that what you were expecting, or did you have? any
Yeah,
other
no,
questions?
that's great. Yeah, I
think that's
wonderful.
Safe built, you wanted to talk about that, so
Mhm.
I don't have a report on that, and I can try to answer questions that you might have.
Couple of months ago, we were looking at having them done contracting with them again to come out for some code enforcement, and where are we with that? They kind of went stagnant.
It was like the county or Safeville, because I went back through my notes.
For code enforcement, we
But they
did
do a
reach out to
different-
the vehicle building inspector.
They have to hire somebody.
They were hired, I think they had hired some, they were doing training or something like that. I think that was the last update with that, so we gotta follow up with them.
But I know it's Springs, so I don't know if I'm.
No,
With the county?
Yeah.
No.
they backed out, that's a dead deal now, because Idaho Springs had an issue with the electrical permitting. And the county then requested that we hold, because they had to back up and see if they could support it financially with just Georgetown, so now that's what they're doing.
Okay. That's helpful, thank you.
But Safe Built, when we first, Cage and I first asked them to take this on and consider it, the condition was being able to hire somebody, and it took them a long time to get to the point where they found somebody they could hire. The other thing that has transpired with that is we've had just very introductory conversations with Empire about possibly partnering with them because they have somebody that they use. So this is all kind of in flux. Nobody has the ability to have, or the workload to hire a full-time person.
Right.
And so we're trying to work out how we can share part-time people. It's just not an easy thing to accomplish,
Thank you.
but we will check on that and see where they're at on the training. Safe Built. Oh, yes, then this afternoon, the sheriff's office sent me this, which I laid out to you. And the first version of it had the wrong logo, so we replaced the logos, but I'm really not real satisfied with the way this looks. If we had to pick one right now, it'd probably be the third one. But we have an expert graphic artist on staff working in terms of Anna, so we think that if we were to assign her this project, she could probably come up with something better, and we could send it over to the sheriff's office and see if they would consider it too.
Great.
Yeah, serving Georgetown sounds like we just got a subpoena.
Yeah, I almost feel like I would like it to say like Georgetown Patrol, personally. Or
Me too, or something like, yeah. I agree with that.
Send me your email ideas on that. Mary and I already had a similar conversation before the meeting. So if you have ideas, we can get those in front of Anna and she can work her magic.
Barry, you look like you have something to say.
I think I've said enough to know.
Never enough.
I'm holding until 3 AM.
She'll remember it.
Okay, any other comments before we close the meeting? Very good. Well, I want to thank everybody, and again, happy new year, and it is 8:08.
I move to adjourn.
Thank you. I'm sorry, who seconded?
Me.
Thank you, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We are adjourned.
Good luck tomorrow.